All right, all right. What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 75 of the Hideout. We have another awesome panel of guests today where we're going to be discussing the metaverse and all things blockchain gaming. So, really excited to have a great panel today. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Nick Frontera. I am the one of the co-founders and the CEO of Apollo Entertainment, the company behind Satoshiverse and the Legions 2029 game. Um, if you guys have not heard of Legions 2029 or what we're building with Satoshiverse, we've been building for about 4 years now. It started as a comic collaboration with legendary Marvel and DC comic artist Jose Delbo, and it has evolved into an entire blockchain-enabled gaming universe, with our flagship game being the first content that we've put out. And that is called Legions 2029. If you want to learn more about the game, the best thing to do is check out the post that we pinned to the top of the spaces. It's got a little preview trailer and some information about our season 1 campaign, which we just launched. I won't go too deep into it, but it is a third-person hack and slash game that took inspiration from God of War for the combat mechanics, and then games like Diablo and World of Warcraft for some of the progression mechanics, all while incorporating a roguelike gameplay loop. So a lot to unpack there. I think the best thing you can do is play it. It's a PC game. It's completely free to play. And right now, if you play it, you can get to level 5 and mint a free custom avatar. So a lot of reasons to just check it out. I would encourage everyone to do so. But what I really would like to do is get to our awesome guests and do some introductions. Before we do that, I want you guys to take a look at the top of the spaces. We've got our Hideout post that says we're live. We're going to be doing a contest during this spaces where whoever retweets that post and is still here at the end of the spaces is going to have a chance to win 5 crystals, which are the key resource within our universe. We'll talk about that a little more towards the end, but please do go and retweet that post. Let people know about the spaces. Let's get people in here. We always appreciate everyone taking their time. So quick little plug for the spaces. And now we will jump over to introductions. I'm going to bring one more guest up on stage, and then let's start with Versus X. Could you tell us a little bit about what you guys are building and give a quick introduction to yourself?
GMs, happy to be here. So my name's Louis Rice, known in the space as Lav Basmati. Been in the crypto space since 2017. Web2 background was in engineering. In my later career, started managing large teams of engineers in the food and pharma sector. Been full-time in the crypto space since 2020, working mainly alongside NFT and gaming projects with go-to-market strategies and BD. Been working with the guys at Versus X since 2022, and also co-founder at Free Protocol. But yeah, Versus X, would love to talk a bit more about that. I won't hog the light too long. But yeah, we're basically a first of its kind, realistic sports, game built on Unity Engine with a wagering layer. So what that means is soon you'll be able to play a round of 9 holes of golf with 3 of your buddies, and you'll all be able to wager $10 each. And whoever wins takes everything, and we collect a rake that goes back to our treasury. So Dean, our founder, he's a bit of a visionary. Back in 2021 when we were founded, Dean's got lots of traditional gaming industry experience. You know, he worked on titles since he was a teenager, things like Colin McRae Rally, all the way through to a lot of golf sim stuff for Foresight Sports more recently. Even in 2021 when he was putting together the initial team, you know, he was talking about transactionless gameplay to frictionless gameplay, and he was also talking about wagering model as well. Similar to poker, everyone plays a game of poker. Not everyone expects to win. It's fun. You put some money in. The casino take a rake for facilitating that game, moderating it, policing it. And you don't scream at the pit boss if you lose a game of poker, So no, it's great. Great to be on team. It's great to be here as well. And yeah, if you haven't checked out Versus X, make sure you, follow us on, X and, jump in Discord.
Yeah, it's awesome how, crypto and the gaming infrastructure being built around, blockchain enabled gaming is really enabling some creative, skill-based, real money type wagering gamified experiences, which that's a mouthful. But I guess, we've had a few guests over time that are doing different takes on this. And, I think it's going to be one of the really unique genres to emerge out of Web3 gaming, because you can do these peer-to-peer exchanges and there is no necessary intermediary, right? You can set up a smart contract to escrow everything. I think that actually solves quite a few problems in the traditional, real money gaming space that a lot of platforms don't want to touch because they don't want to be, dealing with money transmitter type stuff and all that. And so there's more of a peer-to-peer way to do it, like a poker table. And so, yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see this kind of new genre emerge. I think it's probably the most promising genre to gain a lot of excitement in the crypto space immediately. I mean, we talk a lot about digital asset ownership, and I think that's going to be great, but it's going to be across genres, and it's something that's going to be back-ended. I think seeing the wagering component and having a peer-to-peer wagering component is what's really going to create a new genre in this space. So really cool what you guys are doing. Excited to dive in deeper. Let's jump over to Kokodi. How you guys doing? Nice to have you on.
What's up, you guys? This is Django. I also joined on my personal account. So the one with Kokodi PFP, that's also myself. I am today representing Kokodi. So, few minutes or few words about Kokodi. We are building an extraction shooter game. We have ambition to become the next Fortnite or Overwatch of the Web3 gaming. The game itself has been in development for well over 2 years, and I keep telling people that Kokodi is not a crypto project. It's a gaming project that happens to build right now in Web3. Obviously, I am very, very bullish on blockchain and Web3 gaming overall. That's why we have chosen to actually start our journey in Web3 first and foremost. And right now we are building in front of the community. If you want to check us out, I have just pinned a tweet on our main Twitter page, or X page, I should say, that shows a little bit of a gaming footage, so you get a good feel about what is it that we are building. It's an extraction shooter game. That means that you can play together with your mates, with your buddies, and compete with others. It has very colorful, bubbly kind of design. We've put a lot of effort into this. Kokodi is also incubated by CDFI as of January this year. We are building on immutable blockchain. Lots of interesting stuff in this space. I want to also comment and mention to Versus X that was speaking before. Man, like wagering, betting, and casino. It sounds like it's speaking to the exact kind of minds as the crypto degens are actually loving. So I'm foreseeing that you guys will be successful, especially within crypto. But other than this, first time actually joining here, your Hideout space. So thanks for the invitation, obviously. First and foremost, I'm looking forward to spending the next hour with you guys and seeing what we can bring this.
Absolutely. Well, excited to have you guys on. I've been playing a little bit more Fortnite lately as we've been developing an experience for Fortnite in the Satoshiverse. So there's a little alpha for those.
Well, man, honestly, you should play Kokodi. Kokodi is already playable. Obviously, it's still gated access, but it's available on Epic Game Store. So if you speak to me in DMs. I may drop you an access code so you can actually play Kokodi yourself. We have also literally just last week submitted the very new version, new build of the game, which is a big overhaul of the code to Epic Game Store, and I'm expecting it's going to be approved either this week or next week latest. So either way, whether you're going to play even the latest build or the very new build, it's honestly awesome. A lot of people are just really, really enjoying just gaming, basically, like not necessarily play to earn or play to airdrop, whatever, like that kind of narrative is also playing out in front of us in the Web3 gaming, but just quality gaming. This is what we want to bring into the hands of people.
Yeah, well, I was about to say, how do I get access? So you answered that question. Definitely would love to check it out and see what you guys are building. The shooter genre is really an interesting one, and it's been very much embraced by the Web3 space. So really, really cool to have you guys on. I'll definitely follow up and see if I can get that access code. So actually one housekeeping item, because I always forget to say this, and then Spencer usually does cleanup for me, but you mentioned, having a tweet that is illustrative. What I would say is everyone on this panel, please feel free to pin anything to the top of the spaces. It's always good to have, that post at the top for us so that people retweet, but we definitely encourage, if you've got videos or anything illustrative, right? Anything that's going to showcase what you're building, please do post it to the top of the spaces so that, everyone can see a good example. And I think that's the best thing. And for everyone who's here, check out those tweets. I think those are going to be the best chance to learn about the projects and follow along the socials. Okay, that's it for that part. Let's hop over to our last speaker before we go to Spencer. Over the reality, I think we've got Carmen here.
Yeah, hi everyone. This is Carmen. Thanks, Nick. It's so good to be part of this, The Hideout, episode 25 with the Web3 gaming vibes. I'm also signed on as a digital fan, my personal Twitter account with throwing out the purple hearts. But this is exciting. Like personally, I love Web3 gaming, anything gaming, and the Metaverse. So this is like the perfect episode to join. Just a little background about me. I think I've manifested over the reality. I was a really avid content creator in Second Life. That was my first 3D virtual world metaverse where I understood digital economies and connecting with people and all that stuff. And then I attended my first augmented reality developer camp in 2009 in Frankfurt, Germany. And once I saw the use cases of AR, and then I knew I was creating like content in Second Life, I was like, oh my God, can we just have the ability to create AR content over the real world? Like you can create content in Second Life. And that was in 2009. So fast forward to 2021, I was following the NFT hashtag. I came across Over the Reality and my mind was blown, and here I am. So Over the Reality, I would like to personally say, is like an ubiquitous metaverse. The reason why I say that is because Over is a spatial digital layer over the physical world where you can own, rent, and buy and create AR experiences on what we call overlands or digital real estate. You can also obviously create AR experiences anywhere. So our co-founders always say this: Over exists so that anyone can augment the physical world in specific geographical locations. So in other words, you can create AR experiences and connect them to physical locations. And this is huge when we're talking about Web3 gaming and the metaverse, because Over's metaverse per se is already out there. You're all in it. You just don't know about it. You can access it through your mobile phone, download the app. But now with Apple Vision Pro, we just launched yesterday the ability to jump in to these over maps or 3D experiences with your Apple Vision Pro. I will pin that out pin that up to the nest once I stop speaking. So yeah, I'm really excited because right now we launched Map the World campaign and our our DPIN Map to Earn program, which you'll know more about later when I speak more about it. We launched that December 2023, and we're just really excited. And honestly, I love knowing that Versus is on Unity, because Over's platform is also on Unity. So it's really prime for Web3 gaming, guys.
Absolutely. And, I think probably for me, the most exciting and also maybe the most, paradigm shifting but scary technology that's about to invade our lives is augmented reality, right? Like when we talk about digital entering the real world and people really starting to, gravitate towards digital and understand that digital can be part of our real lives. I think AR is going to be what does that. And I still think, the hardware has a way to go. I don't imagine we're going to see people walking around with, $4,000 Apple Vision Pros anytime soon. But I do think that, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4 of that is going to completely change the way that we interact on, 7, 8, 9, 10 hours of our day. I think it's going to become the next cell phone, right? I think we're going to have AR really, really changing our lives. And so, we're going to actually talk about this, so I don't want to get ahead of ourselves on the questions, but I think that, there's such huge opportunities. The AR space is going to create entire new product classes and market sectors. And, if there's one thing that blockchain and NFTs do is it creates this back end for digital asset ownership, right? And so I think when we start to talk about the intersection, which we'll do very shortly, I think that's going to be a big point. So really excited to have your perspective on that, because I think it's something that we're not talking about a whole lot right now, because there's other themes that may be a little sexier until the hardware gets better. But I think once it does, we're going to see just a paradigm shift. So really cool to have you on. Excited to talk about this. Let's jump over to Spencer to get us started with the spaces.
Awesome. Thanks, Nick. And I was about to cut you off because I thought you were going to get us a little too into the first question there. But getting into actually, before I get into the format of the space today, just a reminder for those who are joining us, since Nick said it when we first jumped on the space, we're doing a giveaway here on our space, and we're going to be giving away 5 Satoshi's crystals, which is one of the main resources within our game. And the way that you're going to be able to enter that giveaway is by retweeting the post that we have pinned to the top of the spaces that says "We're live," and that is the post by the Hideout. So please give that a repost. Even if you don't want to enter the giveaway, we appreciate a repost on that so we can get some more people in here. And then the other thing you need to do is just stick around until the end of the space when we actually announce the winner, in order to win your prize. So, moving on to the format of the space today. So we're going to start out with a group question for everyone. I'll call on someone to start, and then feel free to just jump into the question from there and give further responses. And then we're going to do some individual questions for each of you guys. And then if we have time at the end, we'll get back into questions for the group. And for the first question here, maybe Carmen will have you start this off, since this is definitely your forte. But how do you foresee Web3 converging with other emerging technologies such as AR, VR, and AI in the gaming space specifically?
Okay, good question. And we all know this already, right? So if we haven't dabbled in VR or AR and then AI, it's definitely going to create more immersive experiences. Like think about it. Oh my God, it just goes on and on. Okay, number one, it can create more immersive experiences for gamers and game developers to create. I love the aspect of blockchain, and it can create decentralized gaming economies, especially when we combine AI with Web3 technologies. Like this topic is like huge. I love the aspect of autonomous game development when we use AI. Imagine being able to generate content like quests, landscapes, and even NPCs using these Web3 technologies. Can you imagine, like, players and developers, we could actually use the blockchain or like DAOs to propose and vote on content. So literally we are all being part, and I've heard this before. So this isn't really my opinion. I've been to a lot of spaces where I've gathered different people's insights on and opinions on Web3 gaming. So this is all like a I guess a convergence of what I've heard out there, although I do have my personal thoughts, but definitely it's an interesting time for everyone because we all in one format or another play a game, whether it's mobile, online, or whatever. And gaming is always a great way for community. It's a great way for business development, and it's also a great way to stimulate economies. And by economies, I mean like micro economies, be it local, campaign economies. Imagine creating a game with one of those like health campaigns, like breast cancer, for instance, or something like that, gamifying that experience in the real world or using AR and VR. Oh my God, I'm getting ahead of myself. But okay, so what was the question? How do you foresee Web3 convergence with emerging? Yeah, definitely immersive gaming experiences. I love the whole aspect of the potential of autonomous game development and by being able to personalize the game, our own game. I think I've experienced that with Netflix. I think there was a movie a couple of years ago with Netflix where you picked a choice and you can kind of like go on your own route of that storytelling. That aspect is what's going to buy in. That's a really good aspect for Web3 gaming because that'll give people more buy-in to create their own storytelling narrative. That's also going to present a whole level of challenges for innovation when it comes to game developers. But that's exciting. That's what's exciting about what's happening right now with all these technologies. I'm going to shut up. Oh, interoperability. There's also that huge elephant in the room that I think is interoperability, and that is a huge challenge. Are we going to get there? I don't know. We need the infrastructure. The technology's got to be. We're going to need standardizations on these like technologies and devices in the back end and stuff like that. But I do believe that really needs to happen. It's happening now. I'm seeing with Ready Player Me cross like 3D assets being able to cross to different games with things like Ready Player Me and other software or whatever other entities, but interoperability is definitely going to be a huge player. That's it. I hope I answered that question. Why is there silence?
Oh, you did. I'm giving I'm giving everyone else a chance to jump in before I go off on a tangent. But this is one I know I'll speak for a little while on. So what about Kokodi and Versus? Do you guys have any thoughts on this question? Go ahead, just jump in.
Okay, I will try. First of all, I have to say, I really, really, really like the enthusiasm. Whoever is behind the over the reality account, oh girl, you are the kind of person that actually you can only almost find in Web3 with this type of spirit and enthusiasm, and I love this. I can definitely give a take from my side, and especially a take from I want to say Kokodi's side, because if you take into consideration how I actually started introduced Kokodi as us being a gaming project first that builds in Web3. We are not exactly a crypto project, even though I have to say that personally I am a crypto bro, like a DJ and however you want to call this, for a really, really long time in crypto. And I also personally very much believe in the ethos that crypto or decentralization stands for. So, even going back to like Bitcoin days and white paper and CryptoPunks and all of that stuff, that's something that is dear to me personally. But from Kokodi's perspective, I want to maybe start with this, like just to give a context. We are a team of right now over 20 people. Most of us are actually having background and experience over 10 to 20 years in game development, film production, TV production, animation, VFX, that type of stuff. So not exactly crypto or Web3 people. I am probably one of the few in our team that actually understands Web3 and crypto deeply, even though, I don't want to pat my own back here, but in comparison, at the very least, I'm the one that kind of stands out. Other than this, we are a product team and mostly focus on game development. And what we want to achieve is actually bringing a game to the market. And like I say, at this moment, we are building in Web3 and we are embracing Web3 as it is, and everything that comes with it. We are going to go into IDO and token launch, and we also have released NFTs and, building the community in crypto, everything that comes with it. We are all embracing just that fact. But there's one thing that I want to stress out in here and why we have actually chosen to go this route. And I believe that this will be true for all Web3 games out there. In terms of what blockchain brings to gaming in and of itself as a technology, is that there is something like, people say this, like it's a true ownership of your assets inside the game. And I believe this cannot be overstated how important it actually is, because maybe sometimes it's just a term that is just thrown out there. It's like, yeah, Web3 games, the big advantage of Web3 games is that it's the true ownership of assets. But I don't think that people truly understand how big of an importance it actually is for gamers. Because if you look at, the entire landscape of like people who are into crypto, there is one bubble, one like chunk of people of the population that understand crypto and into Web3 and stuff like that. And there is another chunk of people who are into gaming. And even in light what Over the Reality has been saying earlier about how we can gamify and, introduce a lot of the technologies into our everyday lives. There is an estimate right now that between 4 to 5 billion people are playing games daily, on all kinds of platforms, most of which is still led by mobile, but nonetheless, there's over 1 billion people that play games on consoles and like PCs and platforms that are dedicated for gaming. And if you go into the bubble of that people, of those communities, they want to enjoy quality games. That's first and foremost. They like, everybody has their own preferences and whatever genre they prefer. Some people are into Fortnite, Overwatch, GTA, Diablo, Legend of Zelda, World of Warcraft, PUBG, whatever it is that you like. But those are the titles and the games that actually permeate and just, go into sort of like subconscious of those communities overall. And even if you are not into gaming, you probably have heard some of those titles already. And the big thing about the blockchain that is introducing to gaming is this true ownership of assets. And I believe that there will be like a light bulb moment or a eureka moment for all the gamers out there once they understand that, okay, if this game is actually a Web3 game, that means that if I spend money on that game, and I'm going to buy a new skin, new weapon, in any other kind of way, I'm going to spend money on something inside the game, I'm actually truly owning those assets. Because if you speak to people who are into gaming, there is like all gray market from CSGO, skins, gaming. People who just buy and trade the skins in the CS, in the Counter-Strike. And what they end up with is that, I spend money on that game, but I don't actually own it after all, because the publisher of that game can still do anything with your asset that you spent real money on. And what the Web3 games are actually having an advantage and what we push for is that, okay, if you spend money on whatever is it inside your game, it's going to be minted as an NFT or as a digital asset. I don't even want to call it an NFT, but as a digital asset, and it's going to go into your wallet. You can then use it whichever way you want it. And sometimes, you can even maybe do like cross IP type of stuff and use one asset from one game in another game, that type of stuff. And even if it sounds very simple for people in Web3 and crypto, and it's like understanding, it's like, oh yeah, I understand. It belongs to me. But in gaming, people don't really still grasp the entire concept of the true ownership. And once they do, this will be like I said, this light bulb eureka moment where, this is what Web3 gaming brings to the table. And I genuinely believe that as long as we provide the quality gaming experience to those people, they will flock, all of them, to Web3 gaming. So in light of, the question about what is the next meta or next big thing and how the technology can actually enhance the gaming experience in particular, I believe that this is it on broad terms, not just for Cocody, but for all the games and Web3 games that they're building out there.
But yeah, I'll keep it quite short and sweet. I think we're already starting to see AI converge with traditional gaming and Web3 gaming in a huge way. And I think it's like a gift and a curse, right? We're starting to see quite a lot of like traditional gaming studios, big studios, lay off people. And there's murmurs and hearing things through the grapevine that they're doing it ahead of anticipating big developments in AI that will basically replace people with their jobs, which is sad. But there's also, the exciting side of what that means, having a generative game where, things are literally, being created in front of your eyes, or prompt-led gaming as well, which is really interesting. But there's also going to be the dark side of it as well, which is going to be, not just people losing jobs, but also cheating as well. Like, cheating is going to get really hard to detect. And, for a game like us, our anti-cheats need to be on top, because people will be wagering, skill-based wagering, for money. So all Web3 games, are going to be, there's some sort of profiteering or some sort of value or investment at some point. So, everyone's anti-cheats and everything needs to be on point. So there's going to be AI-led anti-cheats, I'm sure, very soon as well. Moderation, we're starting to see with our partners, Octavia. They're kind of like leading the way with AI moderations on social media and in, Discords and Telegrams and stuff like that. And that can be applied to games as well. We are doing AI integration into the game, and where our mascot originally was just going to be sort of like, like task based in game, he is now going to be able to kind of like think for himself, in some ways where, someone may, be, swinging a golf club repetitively and making the same mistake. And then, the mascot will be able to pick up on this and then kind of give the player advice in a game on how to correct their swing. And also, if you get your personal best or you're on the leaderboard or someone overtakes you, it will be able to tell you live in game as well, which is, really immersive. And we're really excited about these things. But yeah, there is also a lot of, I think, especially with, like cheating and, other forms of, manipulation and stuff like that. I think that there are going to be some bad things that come with AI. But yeah, I think, AR, is really interesting and I love it. And I think it's really, it really works well on mobile as well, which is really interesting. Like VR, I think back in 21, me and my friends kind of all upgraded our PCs. We were like, we're gonna get VR. It's gonna be amazing. One person gets it. You'll go test it and you're like, I'm actually pretty sweaty. I don't have enough space in my house because, I live in England and, it's very expensive. So none of us ended up getting VR. So I love VR, and I've been to like a couple of like, events where you get all your friends together and you do like those action shooter things, and they're awesome. Really fun for like a day out or a stag do or something like that. But unless you've got the space, or maybe we're a few years away from like VR being like, I think, every household being able to have and enjoy VR. But it's such a crazy experience as well. And, my partner, when she did it, she had motion sickness and stuff like that. So I know these are things that they're always tweaking and improving as well. But yeah, obviously I think someone already said about Ready Player Me and stuff like that. So it is really fascinating. And I think that, I'm a 90s child. So I've seen, us go from 8-bit Game Boy gaming to where we're at now. And it's just fucking insane, like who knows where we're going to be in 5 years time. And that's kind of one of the things why we've backed skill-based gaming and we're double downing on it. Cause, you see what's happened with iGaming over the last 5 years and how popular that's got. We think the same thing will happen with skill-based gaming as well. But yeah, no, that's my thoughts on the topic.
Well, we've had some awesome takes. I'm gonna try to give a couple thoughts on them and then kind of give a slightly different take from my perspective. So when I got into the space back in late 2017, I think it was, I was working as a lawyer in the IP and entertainment industry, and I had been following, kind of the crypto movement, ICO boom, a lot of what was happening, and there was a lot of interesting, talk around decentralization of certain, flows and kind of how decentralization was going to change everything. And I think a lot of it struck a chord with me. A lot of it also didn't, and I think that was kind of the way that the market reacted, as well as, 98% of the projects that ICO'd probably aren't around anymore. But there was one thing that really struck me as different and really, apart from, Bitcoin kind of and the use case behind Bitcoin, NFTs were the thing that, as a lawyer, I looked at and said, this could change everything. And the reason it could change everything was because at that time, and pretty much still to this day, there was no legal infrastructure for the true ownership of digital assets that allowed digital assets to feel tangible. And what I mean by that is, when we think about assets in the physical space, there's no question about the separation between the IP and the asset itself, right? And that seems like a weird nuance to draw, but in the digital space, it's a very important one. So if you think about, and I always give this example, I'm sure people who have joined in the past are tired of hearing it, but if you think about a t-shirt, and any t-shirt that you might have in your closet, maybe you're a fan of Superman and that t-shirt's got a Superman logo on it. When you get that t-shirt, you don't have some right to the IP itself in your mind. You own a t-shirt. You can have that t-shirt. If it becomes collectible, you can sell that t-shirt. If you want to wear that t-shirt to a Batman party, you're more than welcome to. You can do anything you want with that t-shirt because it's yours. And you have, at a base level, an entire infrastructure of property rights surrounding that t-shirt. Well, what the law says in most jurisdictions about digital property is that you don't have any of those rights. What you have is a limited license, especially in gaming, to use that within a closed ecosystem. So when we start to talk about how digital evolves, how digital becomes a part of our everyday lives, there becomes a question of, well, do you want to own it, right? And I think that, whenever we're talking about this, how new technology is going to affect the digital space, for me, it kind of boils down to, at least when we're talking about the intersection with blockchain, does this new technology create a greater incentive to own rather than essentially rent or lease or have a right to display the thing that is digital, right? And if the answer is yes, well, then you need blockchain, right? Because you need, or at least this is the best technology that's currently available, to develop this infrastructure. In theory, there could be something else, but this is what's emerged, right? And so, we look at this and we say, okay, well, why is this important? Well, for all these advances in the hardware, and, I'm not even going to touch AI because that's a huge, rabbit hole we can go down. But if we're talking about AR, VR, things that are going to make digital assets more interesting to own and create greater value behind them, the way that you can capture that value is through the tangibilization of those assets. And the way that you can make them more tangible is through NFTs and the blockchain, right? And so, I was working for about 6 years at that time at a big Los Angeles law firm. In 2018, I left and I said, you know what? This is going to change everything. I want to be part of that movement. And so when I think about, I'm excited. I nerded out. I was going to some of the first VR conferences. AR gets me super excited. We've talked a little bit about that. But for me, when we're talking about the intersection, it is an infrastructure play. And so I think maybe the only place that I would slightly differ with some of the opinions that we just said is that I'm not sure that Web3 in gaming is going to be as much of like a front end, popularized movement as we all hope it will be. I think that there are some great projects building the foundation for what will eventually be an industry standard. But I think when we are thinking about what actually needs to happen for the Web3 space, the Web3 gaming space to really take off, it is all of this experimentation that we're doing, right? That inspires confidence in the methodology, that allows developers to see, more than users, developers to see, okay, there's a tangible business model here. We can justify investing 5, 10, $15 million into a game that's going to incorporate blockchain mechanics and a blockchain backend so that our users can do this. The law isn't going to change in 2 years and render all of our hard work, meaningless because now we can't deploy this game in 6 different jurisdictions that are restricted, right? When we talk about what's going to create, take the masses, it's going to be all of this hard work that we're putting in leads to the infrastructure to be developed for these AAA developers and higher resourced, studios to really put out quality games that incorporate blockchain technology. Now, on the way there, I think there's going to be some awesome stuff happening in this space. I think we're going to see communities form that develop new methods. I mean, all the work that you guys are doing, for example, in skill-based gaming, I think that has to happen at a smaller scale because AAAs aren't going to want to take those risks until it's been proven out. So I think there's so much good that we're going to do over the next several years in establishing a blockchain gaming infrastructure and space. And I think that NFTs in general are simply going to become an industry standard for digital asset ownership. Now, I think that won't look as sexy as maybe as it does now when we're all excited and talking about it. I think it's just going to be, I have my wallet, my wallet's tied to my account just like anything else, and I own it, and it's the same as buying a t-shirt, right? Like you don't think it's sexy to have physical property ownership rights, and one day I hope we won't think it's sexy to have digital property ownership rights, but we don't have that right now, right? And so, it's exciting. It's exciting what we can do here. I think that the hardware, like you guys were saying, I think the hardware really has to get better before I'm a huge fan of VR, and I don't put my headset on because I get motion sickness, and I would love to have a headset that doesn't make me, nauseous. And it's unfortunate that we're not there yet, but I think all of us are kind of like, all right, get those Omni treadmills so that I could put this in a little closet, get me a headset that doesn't make me sick, and then produce some really great games that are immersive. But that's the future, I think that's where we're going to end up. And I think that when we get there, as digital becomes more important, blockchain will be kind of this somewhat unsexy back end that drives it all, right? And it'll just go back to, are we creating great experiences? Are people having fun? And then one point I wanted to close with was, what Carmen was saying about the gamification of experiences, right? And games, and that everybody interacts with games, right? And I think that has been true for a long time. Even if you're not a gamer, gamification is present in marketing techniques. It's present in just about everything, right? I think with AR and VR, you're going to see that way, way, way more, right? Any experience you can have can be gamified. And at the end of the day, if we look at what's happening with social media and content, people like to be doing something and immersed in what they're doing, right? People want to draw some sort of personal connection to what they're doing. So I think that what VR and AR are going to do is they're just going to make everything more immersive, and AI has the potential to make everything much more custom tailored. So I think that, between the two, you're going to have just a level of immersion that just can't exist right now. But we're going there very quickly, and it's exciting and scary. Essentially it's scary because I was talking to my dad the other day, and I'm like, Dad, enjoy this, enjoy not having digital pop-ups all around us, and, all the negatives that are going to come from the full integration of AR in our lives. But so many positives will come too. And it's going to be very interesting to see how these next 5 or 10 years progress. All right, I'll shut up now, Spencer, so we can get to the rest of the questions.
Oh, good. Great discussion, everyone. So moving on to individual questions. First one is going to be to Carmen. So, Over the Reality is building a DPIN product. So I guess you'll probably get into that, but for those who don't know, that means decentralized physical infrastructure network. But you're building this product with your Map to Earn program. So why do you think there's been so much recent growth in the DPIN space? And why do you think the adoption of DPIN is an important step forward for the Web3 space?
All right. Good question. But first of all, I wanted to say Satoshi versus Nick. That's like amazing. We could like talk about this forever. Okay. So I feel like obviously there's several factors. And to me, and Over the Reality, the one that stands out is the integration of the physical and digital worlds, which Over Spatial Platform easily enables. Cause like imagine being able to merge digital assets with the physical world. This is huge, guys, for industries. Yeah, I know, like real estate, logistics, and even the way we handle like proof of identity. But thanks to these number of Web3 technologies coming out, like DeepIn allows for more seamless interaction with these things between real world assets and their digital counterparts. But in the context of Web3 gaming, like this aspect is crucial. Particularly, think about this, if game devs want to utilize geographical locations as part of their game environment, or to just use replicas of these locations. Now, Over enables this through their map to earn technology by allowing anyone to easily create an overmap of any location, or we use like Gaussian splat, that can be used as part of a backdrop of an AR experience. Can you imagine? Like what's even more exciting is that now you can drop any 3D asset inside an overmap, allowing the context of the AR experience to be even more exemplified. Of course, I'm going to put an over plugin, but another aspect is the ability to empower and offer like monetization opportunities for users. Like this is huge in the DeepIn space. And Over's Map to Earn program, this is what we're doing. We're allowing individuals to actively participate in data generation and infrastructure development. We're interning them like we really kind of want to turn everyday activities into opportunities for earning. So what do you mean by everyday activities? What do you mean every day people are going to 3D map the world? Well, yeah, because you see it now. People are always holding their mobile phones. They're walking the street holding their mobile phones. They're in restaurants. It's like that mobile phone is attached to your hand. So why wouldn't you download the Overwrap? Why wouldn't you like 3D map a location where you're walking to earn some points and help build out this Web3 infrastructure that Over wants to do? Because really, when you are 3D mapping a location, you're really supplying Over the data, every data in that specific location to help build out like a digital twin of the world. Okay, I'm going going ahead of myself. What I like to say is I'm always going to talk about Diego Di Tommaso, our COO and co-founder, because he often says wisdom of the crowds in terms of like, I think he means crowdsourcing. I thought, oh, don't you mean crowdsourcing? Aren't you saying that wrong? But no, in terms of wisdom of the crowds, when Over started, yes, we started as a treasure hunt game. Yes, we did play to earn, but more importantly, you had the ability to buy up the digital layer over a specific land location. And when he speaks about wisdom of the crowds, I didn't realize this, but Over was really using like crowdsourcing, like seeing, okay, you can buy land anywhere on Over, that's Over the real world. Where are you buying it? People were buying up stadiums, vacation destinations, beaches, like Central Park. You got it. So right there is data captured by how do people see, what locations in the world are people giving value to? And it's all in the data by where people ended up buying overlands. I'm getting ahead of myself. So that kind of aspect, that whole monetization opportunity. And imagine, you feel empowered when you own like digital real estate. Like I know I did. It's like, oh, I feel so good. I own that little spot in the middle of Venice Pier in San Fran. Like I really do, and I do own that digital aspect. And why did you choose to own a digital thumb? Well, because I want to create an AR experience there. And that's a whole other thing. Okay, I think another aspect of why is like DeepIn is growing, the DeepIn space is growing, It's really that, because we want trust and transparency. We're all talking about it in Web3. It's like Web3 is supposed to usher in this new decentralization where everything is transparent and all that stuff. And I think this DePIN space, is so important for that, especially with blockchain technology when we utilize blockchain technology. And since DePIN can offer more transparency and security, we just reduce the risk of fraud and human or platform error. And that's huge in this space. That's it. Oh, was there another question? Was there a two-part question? Is this the two-part?
It was, but just if you don't mind, in the interest of time, just because we have to get to our other speakers here and their individual questions, I think we'll move on. But really appreciate your response. Thank you. Next one is to Django. So Cocody recently has been releasing comic panels to tell the story of its universe. Why do you think storytelling and lore is so important in gaming, and how does the lore from Cocody come across in the game?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I'll try to be quick, but in general, if we go with this premise or this narrative that I mentioned to you guys earlier, that we really want to bring quality gaming into the Web3 space, or maybe we want to bring quality gaming, period, and we just happen to go in Web3 space. I always keep on mentioning this, that my vision for Cocody is that people are going to spend time playing it because they like it. And they are not going to spend 1 hour or 10 hours playing it, but they will sink their teeth truly into the game and spend hundreds of hours of playing. I forgot who that was earlier, but somebody mentioned that they are like 90s kid. And I can relate to this, and the gaming experiences of mine is something where you just basically bond over with other people, or maybe sometimes, people like to play on their own, but it's your time when you can immerse yourself into a completely different world and be social and do something that is outside of the reality, so to speak. And in order to do just that, in order for people to actually spend 100 hours playing a game, and I genuinely believe that all of us will have that kind of titles. I have some of that titles, when I think back to this like 90s era, where I spent I would go back from school or whatever else and spend all the time gaming because I really liked playing that game. And part of it is actually being able to actually immerse yourself in the world and be part of the story. So in order to do that, your game, or a game like Cocody, let's put it this way, needs to have a really deep lore and fun gameplay that accompanies it. And that's simply the reason, why, we have these ideas about, okay, maybe we start with comics, the comics that you mentioned is just the beginning for us to actually introduce our audience and our community to what is the story behind Cocody. And maybe I can only mention that, the premise of the game is that there is a world without adults, that the kids find themselves in, and they find masks out there. They put on those masks that protect them from different monsters, and all the kids are forced to join one of two clans, one of which is called Coco, the other one is D, and they are just basically clashing with each other. And this is how you end up inside the game, actually, and playing against the other clans. And then you have a lot of the gameplay that is attached to it. And there is a lot of stories and, just basically stories behind the characters and stories behind the entire world that you are finding yourself in. And that type of stuff is absolutely necessary if you want to create that kind of gaming experience. Maybe what I can do is I'll try to find some tweets from our creative director and co-founder, which is Melba. She's the one that is behind all of those stories and the characters of Cocody. I can, following up with what you guys have asked me in the earlier, I'll just pin one of her, her pinned tweets. She has even tattoos with Cocody and all that kind of stuff. She's a character in her own right, so to speak. But basically she's the one that actually paints the entire picture and the world in which the Cocody game actually takes place. And once again, if you want to actually provide that kind of gaming experience, which is what Cocody aspires to do, having that type of stories and characters and things that people that are playing the game can actually relate to is absolutely a must. So this is what we are doing.
Beautiful. Well, we have a huge focus on lore over here at Satoshiverse. So we love storytelling and everything that comes with it. So appreciate that you guys have a focus on it as well. And then I know we're running out of time here, but, final question here for Versus X. So how does Web3 technology better enable skill-based wagering systems in gaming?
Yeah, great question. Not a question I get that frequently either, which is a shame. But yeah, it's, as it was mentioned earlier in the space, I think it's going to be a long time before a, AAA, giant studio take on skill-based wagering. There's been lots of skill-based games out there. If you look at NBA 2K, I'm pretty sure that you could wager against other players in game. You could buy the in-game currency with your credit card, but there was no off-ramp. So we know that it was, a completely viable business model for, traditional gamers. But yeah, blockchain, it wouldn't be possible without the blockchain, what we're doing. I think there's a lot of, quotation mark Web3 games out there that are just basically Web2 games with a token integrated because there's less red tape in the Web3 space to get investment and stuff like that. Whereas, our game would not actually be possible without blockchain technology. Just online transparency, but also for the on-ramps and off-ramps. We also integrate other people's tokens into our game as well. So we give utility to our partners' tokens. For instance, you can wager with Bytes 2.0, like Neo Tokyo's token. You can wager with Ultras. There's a lot of other token partners that we'll be announcing over the next couple of months as well. We've also added permissionless tokens, so you'll be able to wager with Matic in there and, Ethereum and all of that sort of stuff eventually. But yeah, I think that there is also, with skill-based wagering, like it's still really, early days, but there is, a hell of a lot of potential. It's like it seems like a really obvious use case for, blockchain integration into gaming. Play to earn was really successful. It captured everybody's imagination, especially in like lower demographic countries, especially off of the back of COVID and stuff like that. It gave people a real earning opportunity. It leveled the playing field for a lot of people. It really did amazing things. But the issue that we had is, that a lot of them were Ponzi-nomics, or essentially you're, incentivizing people to play your game and you're paying them money, which, obviously isn't going to last forever. And it made a lot of projects go into doing, future NFT drops or things like that. And then it became diminishing returns. And then also during the bear market, as the players aren't earning much money anymore, people kind of exit and then leave. So that was something that we really needed to address after the last sort of like play to earn, kind of bull run or the initial hype. And I think skill-based wagering offers us a really nice solution. I think we're seeing a lot of projects start to adopt this now, because essentially you're facilitating, the peer-to-peer, as it was mentioned earlier, you're facilitating people to play a game against each other, and you're collecting a small rake, as payment for, facilitating that, policing it, moderating it, making sure that, it's an immersive and fun, opportunity and experience for players. And then that rake is what goes back to the treasury. So, potentially this could be possible, in Web 2, but I'm not really sure, about all the regulations and stuff, for Web 2 users, to be honest with you. And also it's like these giants, they want you to spend money in their game, microtransactions. They don't want you to be able to off ramp. They don't want you to be able to sell, your assets on other marketplaces and stuff like that. And, as someone that's collected skins on games, for the past 10, 15 years, we need blockchain. We need Web3 integration. We need NFTs. So, but yeah, I'll leave it there. I just want to say thanks, to the other speakers as well. It's been incredible. Would love to connect with, both of you as well. Give me some of your beta codes, please. I heard beta codes in there. I would love to test out the game. And thanks for hosting as well, guys, and having us up today. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, it has been so great to have all of you guys on and, telling us about what you're building. Really eclectic group. I'm glad we were able to go for a while because we were covering so many different sectors of the Web3 gaming space. And this was a particularly interesting conversation for me. So really, really happy that you all jumped on. I definitely would love to continue to follow everything you guys are building. Please do reach out in the near future and let's get you back up here again. It's always good to have, the recurring guests who we see everything you guys are building in real time. So really, really excited to keep building this space with all of you. It's definitely a pleasure for me to do this every week and meet really, really incredible founders. So the way that we'll wrap this up is a couple little things. One, I believe we have a winner to announce for our giveaway. So let's do that right now. The winner of 5 Satoshi's crystals, which again is our main resource in the game that you use for forging, item optimization, and all the other cool stuff, is Kaiser Guns. So Kaiser Guns. You'll just need to create a Legions 2029 account and then just send us a DM with your Legions account and we'll drop those in. You can create the account at game.legions2029.com. For those of you, okay, so yeah, ending the space. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the mic for anyone who wants to give a quick goodbye or a quick plug. And then I'll wait about 30 seconds from when I hear crickets to end the space because there's a little bit of a lag. And then yeah, we'll be back here at the same time next week. So excited. If you guys enjoyed the space, please do give the Hideout a follow and come back next week for another panel. My quick plug is Legion 2029. We've been building it for a long time. We're really proud of what we've built. And the rest of the year, we're going to have some crazy exciting announcements. Now is the time to start if you have not already. It's free to play, absolutely no downside. It's currently open. So all you do is check out the post at the top. It's got all the information on how to download and get started. But other than that, we welcome you guys into the community and would love to see you in the Discord. Now I will end it on my side, but again, thank you all so much. Please check out the speakers, follow all the speakers. And yeah, now if anyone wants to jump in and give some closing thoughts, please feel free, and then I will end the space.
Okay, I will jump in. I will say thank you guys for hosting us, for inviting us to the space. It's been a blast. You said that it's been quite eclectic, bunch of people, but this is the beauty of Web3, and I absolutely love it. So, thanks for having us. Thanks for everybody who tuned in. Check everybody, on this panel and, have a good rest of your days.
Yeah, I'm gonna chime in too. Thank you so much, Satoshi and Nick and Laura for inviting in the Hideout. I don't know, I forgot who's behind the Hideout. I do want to please encourage you, if you guys want to map to earn, like earn over tokens, and you can always, if you don't want to use over tokens, switch it over to whatever altcoin of your choice. Please follow Over the Reality. Send me a DM and I will give you your own personal code to join the map to earn program. Again, this definitely was a great conversation. I love it. I wish we could do more of these. And yeah, everybody have a great day and a great week. And thank you for inviting Over the Reality.
Just want to say, GG Kaiser, well done on the win. And thanks again for having us, everyone. It's been great to connect.
All right. Thanks so much, everybody. Signing off.